go.
You hold that side down.
Well.
The goats and the sheep, we're the sheep.
Oh.
They're on the right.
Whew.
Depending on how you look at it. You go right.
I said they're on my right side.
That's right.
So.
We're going to look at it.
Well, all right. We're going to be talking about Abraham today. We're in lesson 5 in the book, page 29. Okay, I'm going to start in Genesis chapter 11, verse 27, and I'm going to read for a while. So, everybody listen up. This is the genealogy of Terah. Terah begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Haran begot Lot, and Haran died before his father Terah in his native land in Ur of the Chaldeans. Then Abram and Nahor took wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Iscah. But Sarai was barren, she had no child. And Terah took his son Abram and his grandson Lot, the son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarai, his son Abram's wife, and they went out with them from Ur of the Chaldeans to go to the land of Canaan, and they came to Haran and dwelt there. So the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. Now the Lord had said to Abraham, "Get out of your country, from your family and from your father's house, to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation, I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed." So Abraham departed as the Lord had spoken to him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed from Haran. Then Abraham took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their possessions that they had gathered, and the people whom they had acquired in Haran, and they departed to go to the land of Canaan, so they came to the land of Canaan. Abram passed through the land to the place of Shechem, as far as the terebinth tree of Moreh. And the Canaanites were then in the land. Then the Lord appeared to Abraham and said, "To your descendants I will give this land." And there he built an altar to the Lord who had appeared to him, and he moved from there to the mountain east of Bethel, and he pitched his tent with Bethel on the west side, and Ai on the east. There he built an altar to the Lord and called on the name of the Lord. So Abram journeyed, going on still toward the south. Now there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to dwell there, for the famine was severe in the land. And it came to pass that when he was close to entering Egypt, that he said to Sarai his wife, "Indeed, I know that you are a woman of beautiful countenance. Therefore, it will happen when the Egyptians see you, that they will say, 'This is his wife,' and they will kill me, but they will let you live. Please say you are my sister, that it may be well with me for your sake, and that I may live because of you." So it was when Abram came to Egypt that the Egyptians saw the woman, that she was very beautiful. The princes of Pharaoh also saw her and commended her to Pharaoh. And the woman was taken to Pharaoh's house. He treated Abram well for her sake. He had sheep, oxen, male donkeys, male and female servants, female donkeys, and camels. But the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. And Pharaoh called Abraham and said, "What is this you have done to me? Why did you not tell me that she was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister? I might have taken her as my wife. Now therefore here is your wife. Take her and go away." So Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away with his wife and all that he had. Okay. That's our introduction to Abraham. We get a few events to start out his life. So I guess we'll just start right into the book with that and see where it goes. Page 29. Anyone who has ever moved knows that moving can be stressful at times. Whether you move across town or across the country, packed into the back of your car in a moving truck, there are typically going to be challenges. Perhaps for this reason, many of us can sympathize with the character of our story. God went to a man named Abram and his wife Sarai and told them to pack up their belongings and to move to another place that they had never seen before and may not have ever heard of either. It was not easy for them, but they did as God had told them. It was certainly an adventure for them, but Genesis records some of their experiences as they followed God's command. Well, God had created human beings in a way that gave them a special relationship with Him. Created in God's own image, the first human beings shared a fellowship with God that was not enjoyed by other creatures. The early chapters of Genesis, however, tell the story of how sin and disobedience had severed that relationship between God and human beings. God still wanted to have a relationship with His creation, and at the end of chapter 11, we see the beginning of God's plan to restore that relationship that He had lost with mankind. To accomplish this task, God chose a family, the family of Abram and Sarah, whose names were later changed to Abraham and Sarah. As an older childless couple, Abram and Sarai may not have seemed likely to be a blessing on future generations, but God knew otherwise. When we first see Abram and Sarai at the end of Genesis 11, they are part of a larger family of Abram's father, Terah. Together they lived in the city of Ur, which was not a small village, but rather a major city in Mesopotamia, modern Iraq. For its time, Ur of the Chaldeans was a modern city and a center for education, manufacturing, and commerce. It was also the center of idolatrous worship of the moon god and other deities, which is what we see in the book of Joshua. So it was in the city of Ur with its pagan influence that God found Abram. Even though He couldn't force Abram to obey, was God really taking a risk? He can use whatever means necessary to achieve the outcome He needs humans to achieve. What if Abram failed? God knew his heart, but He could not force Abram to believe and obey. Originally, God must have called Abram while he was in Ur, but he and his family only went as far as Haran. Like Ur, Haran was an important city located on the crossroads of the major trade routes and was also a center for the worship of the moon god. We do not know why they stopped there. Perhaps they were not ready to move on, or maybe they were waiting until after Terah had died. We simply are not told why they stayed in Haran. Kind of an interesting thing he grabs in the book here about. So he says, Genesis 11:31. I think it's interesting that he pulls it like, he says that originally God must have called Abram while he was in Ur, but he and his family only went as far as Haran. Because it doesn't, maybe this is a crazy take, but it doesn't actually say that until, it doesn't say that God spoke to Abram until they were already there and Terah had died in Haran. Because it says, now the Lord had said to Abraham. So